Hello, everybody. It's Max with Crypto Talk Now. The Pentagon has split a $9 billion contract among four companies. What is the Quant connection? Well, without further ado, let's jump into today's Quant coverage. And as you can see right here, this comes straight from the Associated Press. I'm going to go ahead and full screen this just for you guys to see it a little bit better. But if anything, I'm going to get right to the gist of this because what it entails among this particular four companies is Oracle. And of course, if you've been following the likes of Quant, you already realize how big that Oracle partnership is and so on. So as you can see right here, it says the joint warfighter cloud capability is envisioned to provide access to unclassified secret and top secret data to military personnel all over the globe. It is anticipated to serve as a backbone for the Pentagon's modern war operations, which will rely heavily on unmanned aircraft and space communication satellites, but will still need a way to quickly get the intelligence from those platforms to troops on the ground. The contract will be awarded in parts with a total estimated completion date of June of 2028. The Pentagon said, of course, in a statement. Now, in regards to the Quant connection and so on, we'll definitely get to that. But listen to this last part. Competition is intense to snap up big corporate and government cloud contracts. Think about that in itself. Awards to build global computing networks where information is stored, shared, and secured over the internet instead of on local computer systems. The Pentagon's award is seen as one of the most coveted because of its stamp of approval in a market where ensuring a client's data security is important. Now, another thing I definitely want to point out is recently here at Crypto Talk Now, we talked about, for instance, what XDC had going on with military-grade blockchain technology, right? It's even referred to as, blockchain 4.0. And if anything, there's this dramatic need for these types of services. So what is the Quant connection in regards to what's recently happened here to make the likes of the Associated Press, it's on CNBC, CNN, various news outlets? Well, here it is. So shout out to Greg Lunt, who reported this earlier. We do bring some of his particular tweets and snippets to be recognized, to say the least. Go ahead and follow him at Greg Lunt 27. But like it shows, breaking. Oracle has been awarded a multi-billion-dollar contract from just that, the U.S. Department of Defense, to provide cloud services across all security domains and classification levels. Huge news for Quant. How so? We'll get right into it. So for one, you see, for instance, of the four companies receiving cloud computing contracts from the Pentagon, all of them had received requests from bids from the United States federal agency last year. It says at that time, the General Services Administration didn't expect that Oracle, a lesser player in the cloud infrastructure business, would be able to meet the Pentagon's needs, and they were wrong. Again, that Oracle partnership with Quant is massive. On top of that, the purpose of this contract is to provide the Department of Defense with enterprise-wide, globally available cloud services across all security domains and classification levels, from the strategic level to the tactical edge, the Defense Department basically said. Now, a little bit more in regards to this. Again, the Quant connection, and shout out again to Greg Lunt for providing this. Oracle uses Overledger for DLT interoperability, as we know. Now, in regards to this, three facets of blockchain interoperability. So there's a lot that's highlighted here. So we'll get to the real highlights. So it says, for instance, in parallel, Oracle fintech partner Quant has been working with Oracle and the Oracle blockchain platform to address these challenges with a production-ready solution. The partnership has resulted in Oracle certifying Overledger for interoperability with Oracle blockchain platform for customers looking for production-ready infrastructure to support cross-ledger interoperability between Oracle blockchain platform and other ledger technologies. Quant provides an immediately available solution certified in Oracle Cloud infrastructure. On top of that, even though this part's not highlighted, I do need to mention it. Designed to deliver universal interoperability between permission and permissionless DLTs, distributed ledger technologies, Quant's solution is aimed at customers that want to be DLT agnostic, clients that need to connect different DLTs internally with their organizations, so on and so forth. But look at this on the last highlight. Quant is now working in a highly collaborative manner with Oracle to roll out solutions on the Oracle blockchain platform for a variety of sectors. A key sector that we are engaged in is, of course, the financial services. We've outlined it many times here, especially at CTN when it comes to just that, financial services, and especially what is going to be rolled out with ISO 222 this coming March. Top of this, shout out again to Quant Papa, who basically retweeted this. At Sibos 2022, we did a whole outline for you guys from Sibos, but let's reflect back on this particular one because that was a particular interview with their head marketing guy, right? Well, this particular interview is actually with FinTech F in regards to interoperability and the benefits of digital assets. Now, we of course talked about this many times here at CTN with all the benefits of that. But again, think about what he's going to mention here. Him as in Gilbert Verdian. I went ahead and fast forwarded to a particular area. This one is about roughly 2.5 to 3 minutes. We'll come back for some more commentary, but if anything, it's a great outline for a particular coverage tonight, or this morning, I should say, in regards to Quant. So go ahead and play this, and then we'll be right back. Hold on a second, actually. Can't full screen this, so here we go.
What's it going to mean for financial institutions, customers, whether it's on the corporate side or on the retail side? Once we have this ubiquity across all platforms, what's it going to mean?
It means customers and businesses can actually access new assets which they couldn't before. You had to be a fund, you had to be an institution, and we're seeing that walled garden being broken down, which is amazing because traditional funds can easily digitize and tokenize, and we're seeing that with KKR. They just opened up one of their huge health funds, in the billions, and they're getting people to access it for the first time, which couldn't have access to that before. And that means more customers, more value for them, but it also means consumers and businesses can do things they just didn't have the opportunity to do. So again, taking an illiquid asset, tokenizing it as a digital asset, using that as collateral in a loan in a new way, it's really transforming financial services. And this time just doesn't happen often. It's every 30 years we get to this transformational phase of FS.
Amazing. Well, if we divide that by 10, it's been 3 years since the last physical Sibos. And I've got to ask, what's caught your eye? What trends have made you go, that's interesting?
I think what's been exciting for this Sibos, we were at 2019, is top of mind. Everyone is talking about CBDCs and digital assets. And they weren't, not many years ago, it was only 3 years ago that they didn't do that. And what's changed is the regulation has allowed institutions to explore and implement the technology. But what we've seen is everyone has a friction point and a barrier of interoperability. How do we solve interoperability? How do we make this work within our existing core banking system, with our capital market system? And that's something we solved in 2018. So we're quite ahead of the market to be able to implement interoperable blockchain solutions to coexist with their existing solutions. And that work we're actually doing with large banks, central banks, and really testing, instead of just talking about it, testing CBDCs.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That's brilliant.
All right, so here's the thing. Yeah, he mentioned all the thing about central banks and so on. You may be wondering, well, what about the Quant connection to Oracle? Again, the key thing is the interoperability, right? Now, we're going to show you this particular one here. And if anything, it's going to talk about Oracle, for instance, OCI, OBP, and so on. Over the ledger ready for 430,000 customers. But again, shout out to Quant Papa for providing these particular clips. But if anything, it gives you a broader perspective about how huge the Oracle partnership is and so on, and particularly like what we recently seen in the news in regards to that Pentagon contract and whatnot. We'll come back in about 1 minute for post commentary, and we'll be we'll be back here shortly.
And what actually has happened is we've met lots of different types of people within Oracle, introduced to different types of customers. We've been deploying our technology within Oracle Cloud, so OCI. But more importantly, we've actually created a new partnership with Oracle. So our product, so Overledger is our technology. So Overledger is an API gateway that allows anyone to build and benefit from a multi-DLT solution. So you don't have to be picking one or another blockchain. You can use all of them with our technology. So this partnership has basically allowed Oracle to certify us and our technology to be used for Oracle blockchain platform. And that's quite amazing for someone our size. We're able to access the Oracle customer base. We're working very closely with the product team, with OBP. We did a webinar together about a month ago, and we jointly presented and showed the tech working within Oracle. And OBP is a great way for us to scale. And we're getting new customers, and we're working even more closely with Oracle as a result of that.
Well, working more closely with Oracle as a result of that. You already had all these things going on with Oracle to begin with, right? I mean, it's just, when I say it's massive, it really is massive. And on top of that, the recent thing that happened with this particular, news coverage from the Pentagon is even that much more just impressive. You name it, right? So, okay, what about that? The whole thing with Oracle and so on. Well, let's do a particular breakdown. And on this breakdown, you're going to see quite a few different examples of how this all works, the interoperability, you name it. Again, shout out to Quant Papa for these particular diagrams. So it says Gilbert Verdian. It says, hi all, just popping in to say hello. I wanted to verify a few points that have been mentioned basically here recently. Firstly, Oracle certification of Overledger. This is a huge thing for us. Oracle blockchain is now interoperable with, or I should say, because of OVL. And this means, as of now, Oracle have a really robust and future-proof blockchain solution for their 430,000 plus customers, many of whom have been asking for this and referring potential customers to us. The second biggest software company in the world, worth $252 billion, is public about our partnership and collaboration, one of the biggest announcements this year. And oh, by the way, we're going to zoom out on this. If you're wondering about that specifically, who is the first biggest one? Well, I think you guys know, but nonetheless, straight from Investopedia, 10 biggest software companies in the world. Straight at the top of the list, of course, is Microsoft with a market cap of 1.94 trillion, and right behind them, of course, is Oracle with a market cap of 186.6 billion. Again, these are published at different time frames, so you gotta keep in mind it's not really up to date to a sense on those exact numbers. Now, back to what we were covering earlier, and that is, of course, this. It says, since the announcement, our team have been busy dealing with incoming requests and inquiries from Oracle's clients. We had to go through a rigorous process over the last 12 months to reach this stage, and I am extremely proud of our small team for working so hard to get us to this point. These clients are not small clients. Either just to give you a ballpark, for instance, in a previous company, our annual spend with Oracle was in the range of about 200 million. And guys, when it comes to the likes of, for instance, Quant and so on, think of how many partnerships they have. When you hear these crazy price predictions for what Quant could bring to the table in the future, especially 2023 through what, 2026, 2027, and so on. This is just the tip of the iceberg of how we achieve crazy market cap predictions for the likes of Quant. Now, a little bit more in regards to this. Excuse me, I'm kind of under the weather, to be honest. There's this. So it says, for instance, May 5th of 2021. Got to reflect back on what happened. IAC 2021 Innovation Award winners. Back in Fairfax, Virginia, says on that particular date, the American Council for Technology and Industry Advisory Council, ACT IAC, the premier public-private partnership in the government IT community, announced the winners of the 2021 ACT IAC Innovation Awards. And again, you see the connection, for instance, with the likes of Oracle's OBP, right? Oracle's blockchain platform, the API gateway, and so on. What is the Quant connection? Well, you already know the partnership. But if anything, of course, we'll get more into that specifically. But another thing I want to point out is this. So instead of Minet delivers exceptional gaming experience with OCI and cuts costs by 80%. Now, in regards to this, it's a Japan-based online business that redesigns mobile game titles to reach a broad audience. Uses OCI, again, the Oracle connection, guys. Networking, compute storage, and an array of other cloud services. Oracle is so much more than just this, for instance, Pentagon contract. That is a massive contract, right? So it says multi-cloud strategy uses 7 vendors, including Oracle, Alibaba Cloud, of course, Google Cloud. Just, let's face it, Google also got that particular contract with Pentagon, and AWS, another one it did, right? So multi-cloud decreases risk of title unavailability. Single vendor outage affects only titles deployed on that particular vendor. Adopts the best cloud for each game title based on performance, stability, cost, EaaS, capabilities, and data services. 80% reduction in cloud costs with Oracle, for instance. 6 times reduction in time taken for processing batch jobs. And of course, there's a little bit more on the right in regards to that. Now, back to this. Look how you have that particular connection. If you hear pauses once in a while, it's because I'm muting myself because, again, I'm under the weather fighting this. So, it mentions asset specifications, blockchain app builder, token chain code. I mean, you see how all connections, the deployment of that to Oracle's blockchain platform, aka OBP, and then even connecting it down to the likes of that ERC20 connection or contract. Then, for instance, Overledger, right? Hash time lock, atomic swap orchestration. You can see how all this works, for instance, Hyperledger Fabric, you name it, right? It's just, again, Quant allows a lot of this to be just that, interoperable. There's a little bit more. And, for instance, when I go further down, and again, I can't thank Quant Papa enough for having these particular charts and diagrams. So, Oracle OCI OBP, there is more in regards to this. So, further plans to enable Web3 capabilities. Okay, so check out this, for instance, right? You see, for instance, the tokenization, extending FT and FT models, more complex ERCs. I mean, we really basically seen that recently. But for instance, the delegatable behaviors, fractional NFTs, hierarchical NFTs, like the ones that have VIP privileges, non-custodial wallets for Web3 APIs for Solidity/EVM, chain codes, exchange methods, OBP FTs with FT and, for instance, NFTs. I mean, so on and so forth when it comes to tokenization. Now, in regards to decentralization, it's massive. Cross-chain interoperability for greater asset portability across blockchains, business processes spanning ledgers, Hyperledger, Cactus as a broader cross-ledger service bus, decentralized identity, decentralized identifiers, DID documents, W3C verifiable credentials. And it doesn't just end there. There's a lot more, right? Decentralized governance. For instance, policies to add members, create joint channels, chain code ops. It's massive, right? Smart contracts to tally the votes, for instance, evaluate results against policies, trigger the agents to perform required actions. A little bit more in regards to this customer and partner tokenization use cases. I mean, look at how much is basically listed here. I know this is like a grocery list of stuff, but nonetheless, one of the key things I want to point out is the FT digital currency of twins representing other assets. So, for instance, talk about CBDCs, for instance, retail, wholesale, central bank digital currency (CBDCs), bank-backed digital currency for book transfers and inter-branch multi-currency liquidity, certified supply chain tracking and royalty rules for patented fabrics, insurance back-office payments, accounting, and then even with all that you see when in regards to just that, the NFTs. Now, in regards to this, you have in figure 2, and again, shout out to Quant Papa for providing these particular sources and so on. the value stream of hierarchy. Right at the top, you literally see, for instance, Oracle, literally at the top of that particular pyramid. You have the value stream, right below it, core platform service, base platform infrastructure. What does that entail? What is that all about? Well, you know, if you guys haven't seen our particular Bitcoin coverage we did, you get a lot of views and so on. Got like maybe a couple subscribers and whatnot. But if anything, we break down analytics quite a bit here at CTN. So it says, for instance, analytics, AI, and machine learning. Again, right at the top of that, you have the partner applications, the custom applications, so on and so forth. It's just this whole thing with Oracle. I know a lot of times we kind of just keep going on about Oracle. Maybe people are getting tired of hearing about it. You won't get tired of hearing about it, but when you see what they bring to the table for the likes of Quant and, again, the Quant connection. It says, for instance, because internet and trust and blockchain are integrated from the center of the platform pyramid, both up into applications and down into infrastructure. Also get internet, IoT also can mean Internet of Things. A closed loop cycle can be realized. For example, listen to this. A manufacturing customer can track data and insights through a complete cycle of design, make, deliver, monitor, and back to make. Furthermore, performance and quality metrics can then be used by the system to influence future product updates. Oracle thus provides an end-to-end solution that goes from just that PLM into manufacturing, then into the order, and onto logistics, warehouse, field monitoring, and back to quality management into the PLM. By reducing barriers to entry and making such technology accessible, Oracle customers can be more transparent with their customers and suppliers, increasing resiliency. All right. And then there's also a couple more I definitely want to show you because, you may be thinking, Max, you're making too big of a deal about it. It needs to be known how big of a deal this is because it really, really is a big deal, to say the least. So, just double checking a couple of settings. So there's this. And we've seen this before. But it's great to have these particular diagrams. So, cross-ledger interoperability, leveraging quant networks. You see, for instance, over-ledger solution from Quant Networks available for just that, OBP, and deployed in Oracle Cloud. When we mention all the different partnerships and, for instance, the gateway to some of these other ones and so on, and how Quant's right in the middle of that, all those ones are totally significant. I would never downplay any of that. But when it comes to the connection to Oracle, I think people really need to have a firmer understanding of how massive that is. So middleware, for instance, enables interoperability across OBP, Corda, right? We talk about, for instance, Corda quite a bit here, right? Especially with what they got connected with XDC and so on. That bridge with XDC is massive, right? With R3 Corda, Quorum, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin, Stellar, IOTA, EOS. By the way, look out in the future for our particular IOTA review, I should say. All right, sample scenarios. Might as well give you one, right? So, cross DLT asset ownership swap with cancellation and rollbacks, dual DLT, logging. For example, confirming fabrics, transactions onto the public blockchain, more complex orchestrations, for example, PO/invoice matching on one DLT and issuing payment on a different DLT with settlement confirmation to the original DLT. Do people understand the particular value behind this or the technology that drives these forces together, these technologies? It's absolutely huge. Top of that, examples of production apps on the Oracle blockchain platform. You literally see everything listed right here. One thing I definitely want to highlight, for instance, is, for instance, the electronic KYC solution for bank customer onboarding and ongoing updates. Here's another one. SIAE, managing intellectual property rights of authors and representation contracts. You understand some of this. A lot of times, a lot of this could be over a person's head. It gives you a broader perspective of how much Quant is accomplishing at scale that nobody else is doing. A little bit more in regards to this growing catalog of partner industry solutions on OBP. You literally see everything listed here. And on this particular one, I won't even go into it. We all have eyes for the most part. We can see. All right. Oracle blockchain use case examples 1 and 2. How about this particular one, right? We're always talking about some of these other ones, right? But I'm going to highlight this particular one. So you have ICBF, farm to fork beef provenance and cattle genomics tracking to reduce CO2 emissions in, for instance, Ireland. That's probably something you might not have heard of. And that's just one of many, many examples. Intercompany billing and settlement. Intercompany ledger for cross-ERP billing, reconciliation, settlement. Through the likes of what? General Electric. On top of that, transportation logistics. We're always talking about, for instance, the breakdown of our supply chain. What is going on, for instance, in the world. How can blockchain solve things at scale to create a better solution for the likes of logistics? Our logistical problems that we have in this world today, especially in the United States, is a breakdown of our distribution sector. Quant can accomplish things at scale that nobody might even give them credit for because they are the guys in the background making everything interoperable at scale that nobody is doing. Transportation logistics, maritime shipping documentation, and logistic events tracking through CargoSmart. You have, for instance, real-time packaging, delivery, and tracking, handoffs in the delivery chain, so on and so forth. All right, I'm going to go back a little bit. And I know this is a little bit of a deep dive, but you know what? I think sometimes a lot of you guys appreciate the deep dives. CBDC foundations and key design questions. CBDC money flow. You know, I get it. A lot of people aren't fans of CBDCs and so on. I'm not saying I'm a fan, but if anything, I recognize that CBDCs are going to be here. And if anything, I want to invest in particular cryptos, the ISOs, for instance. I know where the big money is, and I want to put my new focus on just that. My days of the, puppy dog e-news of 2021 are over, but there are exceptions. Like, I'll say this much. I think Volt is an exception, but that's a story for another day. So, CBDC money flow. You see, for instance, right in the middle, the CB reserves and settlement accounts, CB digital token, general purpose. Again, look at the particular diagram and how private digital tokens, general purpose, is part of that. In regards to these policies, the technologies, I'll say this specifically. Using DLT blockchain, for instance, versus traditional database-backed centralized ledger or hybrid architecture to ensure safety and maximize resilience. Account versus token-based money system versus the hybrid model. How to ensure privacy, anonymity for most users without sacrificing, for instance, what you see here. And on top of it, how to ensure scalability with low latency and immediate finality. And that's the thing. I think a lot of times people don't realize how massive it is to have immediate finality. You can have the fastest blockchain in the world. You can have the fastest, for instance, transactions per second, TPS. But without that actual finality, you're going to have some problems. You have to have fast and secure finality. All right, on top of that, you see some of these other things basically mentioned here. But if anything, I think Quant Papa did a very, very good job of all these particular ones. And last but not least, I am going to show you this particular one. It's in regards to Quant and ICF in regards to this. And I think, if anything, we'll close it out on this particular one. Farm of the future, IoT, and big data. IoT devices in agriculture will reach 75 million in 2020, growing 20% annually. Right? Future farms, small and smart, right? And you have a particular idea of how this is all going to happen. Are you kidding me? Smart tractors, GPS control steering, and optimized route planning. Reduces soil erosion, saving fuel costs by 10%. What is the connection to blockchain? Traceability, consumer feedback. It can all be, for instance, used at a scale to make things more efficient. And last but not least is what you see at the top right, the Oracle Cloud connection. Look at how it connects to literally everything, just like the likes of Quant. You talk about the thing with the Pentagon. but I don't think people understand the scale of what Oracle brings to the table. All right. In closing, I'm going to go ahead and come back into the frame. And let's see. All right. So there you guys have it. In my humble opinion, the Oracle partnership, we're going to keep covering it here, especially when you hear about recent news with this whole thing that happened with the Pentagon. Be on the lookout for more and more things to happen with the likes of not just Quant, but especially with what they got going on with Oracle. We'll continuously try to cover these particular news updates, and if anything, provide you guys some detailed information to give you a broader perspective of what Quant is going to have coming up here soon with the likes of, for instance, ISO 222 in March, and the outlook for the future of Quant. So, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this particular Quant coverage. Thanks again for watching this particular video. Check us out on the daily show every single day of the week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. On the behalf of myself, Larry, and the rest of the Crypto Talk Now Network team, may you all have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next one.